Shut up and sit down.
Good morning all, nice to see you. So this video is my introduction to my Northern Adventure trip. It's currently Monday morning, it's a holiday here today in Canada, so I thought I'd make this video today rather than waiting till the end of the week. So next Saturday, I depart on my Northern Adventure. I'll be riding my Suzuki V-Strom DL650 AX EXP V-Strom on this trip. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So I depart next Saturday. This is the whole view of where I'll be riding, all the main trips I'll be taking. In total, this, as it's mapped out, is about 4,600 kilometers. But I'll be doing a lot of rides when I arrive in certain locations, and I'll be getting more into that. So I'm expecting somewhere just over 5,000 kilometers total. This is a 12-day trip I'll be embarking on starting next Saturday and coming back the following almost 2 weeks later. So I live down here in Calgary. This is Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And I'll be heading all the way up north through Alberta into the Northwest Territories, eventually arriving in Yellowknife, where I'll spend 3 days. And then I'll be coming back, heading west, and then going south through a large part of BC before returning home. If I scroll out a bit here, we can see what this route looks like in relation to the rest of the continent. You can see it's a pretty big trip. If I scroll out a bit more, this is the United Kingdom. And this is my route. This is pretty much the same size as the entire UK, give or take. Down here is Texas, you know, that great big American state. And yeah, I'm pretty much covering more than Texas too. This is a big trip. Let's have a look at it in detail. So like I said, I'm here in Calgary, Alberta. So day one, which is next Saturday, this is a look at where I'll be traveling on day one. This is about almost 600 kilometers. And I'll be traveling from Calgary up the secondary road. It's called the 22. And I'll be arriving in Valley View, Alberta. Valley View is not much of a town. It's sort of an agricultural oil town, or gas town really, way up here. This is, I think, about the second longest day of travel. This is going to be my first day of traveling, so I'm just going to head out there. Instead of taking the main highway, I want to take these secondary roads all the way up. So one thing about this trip is that I'm in no hurry. This isn't just me getting on the bike and riding as long and as fast as I can. This is about sightseeing. I want to go out and see what's out there. I want to enjoy my trip and have a look around and do some exploring. The interesting thing about Alberta and BC is that I've been pretty much everywhere. I've traveled, when it comes to Alberta, if we go a little bit north of Edmonton and we head straight west through Valley View to the border, all the way around, all the way up to Fort McMurray and this whole area. I've been pretty much everywhere in that area. I've driven it so many times, every little town, 3 hills, 2 hills. I never did find 1 hill though. You know, I've grown up in Alberta and I've been all over the place. When I was a kid, I was like 8 years old. It's the only time I've actually been up to this area here. We took a trip up to a place called Rainbow Lake, which is way up here. So I've been through Peace River, but I was a real young kid at the time, so that trip doesn't count. So this is my chance to actually take some roads and go into some areas that I've never been in before. I have been up here to Hay River once before. When it comes to BC, I actually haven't been anywhere I'm going to be in BC except for one place where I landed at an airport and took off. We'll get more of that. So that's what this Northern Adventure trip is about, is seeing places I've never been. So day one, 600-kilometer ride through Calgary. This will be a gas stop. These pins are just there to get my route off of the highway and onto the secondary road. So this will be a gas stop and I'll be arriving in Valley View. I'm camping the entire time, so my motorcycle will be packed up with my tent and sleeping bag and everything. And day one, 600 kilometers, probably 7 to 7.5 hour trip, arriving in Valley View. Day two, I'll leave Valley View and head up to High Level. You can see we're getting up into the north part. This is where we start getting into mosquito and horsefly country. Northern Alberta is very forested, lots of little lakes hanging around. You can see that there's a lot of water. A lot of mosquitoes up there, but what's worse than the mosquitoes are the horseflies. And this is where we'll start getting into the horseflies. Once you get north of Peace River, excuse me, my voice seems to be going a little bit. you get into these horse flies. If you're not familiar with horse flies, they're kind of exactly what they sound like. They're a fly that's like as big as a freaking horse. These things are huge. They really are very, very large flies. They're also like flying piranhas. They will eat you. I swear to God, a swarm of these could strip a dead horse to its bones in like half an hour. They hurt when they bite. They're big, they're gnarly, they hurt, they're horrible. So lots of bug spray. So day 2 is about a 430 kilometer trip. Nice, easy trip. I'll probably stop in Peace River, do a little bit of sightseeing. And when I get to high level, there's not a lot to see in high level, but this is going to be a really nice, beautiful trip through the forests, I think. And it'll be a nice, relaxing trip. So shorter day, but lots of sightseeing with a stopover in Peace River. Day 3 will see me going into the Northwest Territories up to Hay River. And this is on the south side of the Greater Slave Lake. That's what this big lake is called, Great Slave Lake. I've been to Hay River once in the mid-90s. I flew there for a job. I remember I flew up Monday morning, got to the job site, and I spent just a couple days there and flew out Thursday. I never really got to see anything in the town. It was just hotel, job site, and that was it. So this time I'm actually going to do some exploring. This is only 320 kilometers an hour, 320 kilometers. So I'll be able to make it without a fuel stop, no problem. The other nice thing about making my route this way, having the nice long first day, the medium second day, the short third day, is that when I get to High River, I want to do a little bit of exploring. There's a nice road, this number 5, that goes off to the east. I wouldn't mind taking a trip on that, seeing what's out there. Have a look around High River, the town of High River. It's right on the edge of the lake. There's going to be some really interesting views, I guess. But like I said, this is all about enjoying where I am and just doing some exploring. So I'll get to High River, set up my camp. I have already campsites booked for Hay River, Yellowknife, and Fort Simpson, as well as Jasper, which I get to later. So day 3 is this up to Hay River on the south side. And that'll be a nice trip. If I zoom out, you can see where we are in relation to the rest of Canada. This is where we cross into the Northwest Territories. Day 4 is going to be a really great trip. This is where I go around the Greater Slave Lake all the way to Yellowknife. This is a bit of a longer trip. It's 500 kilometers, and it's going to take me a long time because there's some really nice things to see. There's a bridge here, which is pretty popular and looks really neat. And this is all forest. Maybe I'll see a bear, maybe not. This pin here, stopping in Fort Providence, is a fuel stop. There's a gas station right here at the intersection of the highway, but I'm going to go right into Fort Providence. Maybe grab a bite to eat, have a look around Fort Providence. I don't expect it to be much, but I like to explore. What a lot, what a lot of other people might think of as boring, to me is just interesting because I've never been there before. I like seeing new things, whatever. So I'm going to pop in there. And then once I get to Yellowknife up here, I'll be spending the next 3 days in Yellowknife. There's a lot that I want to see and do in Yellowknife. This is the capital of the Northwest Territories here in Canada. We can see the Northwest Territories. Interestingly enough, it's not even near the most north I've been. I've actually been way further north. And I'm just going to divert here for a minute. So this is Northwest Territories. If we keep going up, we can see this place called Resolute, and this is Somerset Island. I've actually been up here. I spent a day in Resolute, and then I spent 6 weeks right here on Somerset Island in this bay. That's north. So once I get to Yellowknife, I'll zoom in here. There's this road called the Ingraham Trail. It's the number 4 on here. There's a gold mine, an old disused gold mine, somewhere right around here, which I want to take a tour of. There's a lot of history there. And then I'm going to take a trip out the number 4. This isn't a long road, but it's going to be absolutely beautiful. There's all of these lakes, all of these parks. There's a lot going on. And it comes all the way out here. And then on Google Maps, the road just ends right here. I'll put a pin there so you can kind of see where it is. And that's called the Ingraham Trail. Now in the winter, this road will continue further on as an ice road. There's mines and stuff and whatnot. But in the summertime, I don't know what to expect at this point, because if you look on Google Maps, this ends at a river. So that'll be interesting. The other road I want to really explore out of Yellowknife goes north. And there's not a lot on Google Maps. It's this road right here. Comes up this way. And basically kind of comes up, goes over here, keeps going north. Sort of peters out. I think this is just a work road, logging, maybe mines, and sort of ends right here. But I suspect there's going to be a lot of places that I can take my adventure bike and just go exploring this whole area. So I'll be doing that. And then, of course, I want to spend time in Yellowknife and just visit Yellowknife. It's gold and diamonds in Yellowknife. There's a lot of diamond mining out there in the Northwest Territories. So, there's a lot to see and do up here. It's going to be very, very fun for me. Yellowknife has definitely been on my bucket list since I was a kid. It's a place I've always wanted to visit. Driving my car has never really turned me on, but now that I've got my bike, this is going to be a fantastic trip. So I'm going to spend 3 days in Yellowknife. So that's day 1, day 2, day 3, 4, 5. And then I'll be heading over to Fort Simpson. Now this is the longest travel day. This is actually 640 kilometers. But I suspect it's going to take me a lot longer than that. Probably the travel time for the map, what it says up here in the corner, is 8 hours. But I suspect it's going to take me even up towards 10 hours. I think some of this is gravel road, but I can't be positive. It's hard to get accurate information about it. But there's a lot to see on this road. There's a lot of falls. There's a waterfall here and somewhere else. And if it is a gravel road, I'll be going slower. But this is going to be a really beautiful drive or ride. And then I'm going to turn north into Fort Simpson. And there's a ferry, an on-demand ferry crossing right here. And I'll be camping in Fort Simpson. There's a campground right there. So that's going to be a great ride. Really looking forward to this particular ride. It's going to be just awesome. That's a fuel stop again. The next day, I'll be heading from Fort Simpson back down into BC to Fort Nelson. We can see all of Canada if I zoom in a bit here. This is Fort Nelson. This is where we really start to get into the mountains. Well, actually kind of start to get into the mountains right here. So this is a 480 kilometer trip. So it's going to be a bit tiring, especially after the previous day. I believe this is gravel road. Excuse me. In fact, I'm pretty sure most of this is gravel road. But I want to pop into Fort Liard, have a look around. There's some hot springs out here, but I'm not going to get to them. So this is going to be a long day. I don't know how much exploring I'm going to get to do at Fort Nelson. Of course, I'm going to check out the town. Excuse me, my voice is really going. So I'll check out the town. It'd be nice if I can get out and explore some of the mountains, but we'll see what's going to happen to that. The next day is from Fort Nelson to Dawson Creek. We can see that I'm starting to get back towards the Alberta border. Again, this one's 450 kilometers. I'll arrive in Dawson Creek, check out the town, maybe do some exploring around on my adventure bike into the mountains, see what's going on. The next day is from Dawson Creek, heading back west, down to Prince George. This is a bit of a fuel stop. I couldn't find any other indications of a gas station anywhere in this strip. So this is right about halfway. So I'll have to pop in there, do a pit stop, maybe grab a bite to eat, of course, and then head down to Prince George. Prince George is a bit of a larger city. So it might be nice to check out the city, see what's going on. I don't know how much, again. I'm trying to plan as much time as I can to get out and explore the mountains and do some off-road riding and mountain trails. That's a given. I'll be doing that everywhere. So the next day from Prince George is into Jasper. So this is where we cross back into the border. Now this is where we get to the Jasper Highway, or I think that's what it's called. So this is all highly mountainous, of course. This is sort of in the middle of the mountains. But now this is a pass through the mountains, and it's just an absolutely gorgeous drive. I've never been there. I've actually never been to Jasper, and I've never driven this Jasper Highway, so this is going to be great. This is 380 kilometers between Prince George to Jasper. I'll be camping at this really big campground. There's quite a few rather large campgrounds here. Whistler's Campground, if we zoom in, you can see that. All of these loops, this is a big place. I've already got my reservation for that, so there's no big deal. This is a gas station right in the middle. What's it called? The Crossing Outpost or something? Oh no, Sandman. Sorry, I'm thinking of something coming up. So this will be a gorgeous ride. And the final day is Jasper to home. 400 kilometers, mountain ride, all the way down through this gorgeous Jasper Highway. This is a very popular ride for people to take out of Calgary. People to ride on their bikes. Head up, stay overnight somewhere, come back. A lot of people make this a weekend trip. It's very popular. I've never done it. Of course, once we get down to this highway here, I've done this highway like countless times. In fact, later today, I'll be heading out to the Kananaskis Highway, this 40 loop again. It's a popular bike ride. And then right about here, I'll be exiting the mountains, back onto the prairies, and returning home. Total of a 12-day trip. About 5,000 kilometers once it's all said and done. It's going to be great. So zoom back out, you can have a look at that. Now, I depart next Saturday, and I'm going to be doing as much videos as I can. I've bought a few extra SD cards for my GoPro, an extra battery pack as well. So I'm looking to get as much video as I can, and when I come back, I will post videos of my trip on the bike and whatever else, and I'll do as best a job as I can. But as you probably know, if you're a subscriber, I'm not the best at editing videos. So that's my trip. I depart on the 6th, and I will be returning on, what is it, the 17th, I think. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, yeah, the 17th. So that's my V-Strom Northern Adventure. It's going to be great. Hope you guys check back when I come back. Have a look at the videos and everything. I'm really hoping I see a bear. I've only ever seen one bear in the wild. I see lots of animals, you know, I've been all over Alberta and whatnot, but I've never actually seen a bear in the wild, except a polar bear. I did see a polar bear once, and that was up here on the island. A polar bear and her cub. That was really cool. Wasn't very close. She was quite a ways away. We had to look at her through the binoculars, but that's the only bear I've ever seen in the wild, a polar bear. So I'm really hoping to see like a brown bear or black bears. I've seen moose and deers and all the rest of it, but not a bear. So that's my trip, 12 days, 5,000 kilometers on my Suzuki V-Strom, camping the entire time. It's going to be great. It's going to be really, really great. So please check back, starting on probably the 18th. I'll have the day one videos posted, and you know, wish me luck. I've got pretty much everything already sorted. I could like leave tomorrow. But yeah. So I've also got Friday off of work. That's my planning day. I'll be packing, doing a bit of shopping for last minute supplies. I'll get a haircut, things like that. And then I'm gone Saturday morning. All right. Thanks for watching.